Okay, so there's a number of different ways that we engage. First of all, we'll be trying to help the Commission set their strategic direction for research in Europe. Every so often the Commission will issue a position paper about, for example, the future internet, which is one of our main spaces of work. We would analyse that and provide our contributions back to the Commission in various areas that we think may need more focus or less focus. Those will eventually come around as a set of calls for proposals for projects that are going to be issued by the Commission, and then there's a complete competitive process to win the funding that comes out of that. So when we get a call for proposals, we analyse the call text. We try and identify exactly what the Commission is looking for within that, because it is often very vague. And then we decide how we can pull together the best kind of consortium after we get a good project idea to meet the needs of the particular work programme that the Commission has issued. Yeah, it's a long process. A typical proposal, a large-scale one, would take maybe 5 months to prepare. And that would involve, again, analysing the work programme, trying to come up with a good idea, actually talking to Commission representatives, maybe in Brussels or at some of their Proposer Day events that they host. We were at one recently in Budapest, for example, last week. We could pitch our project idea to them, maybe in a one-page version, get some of their feedback. They'll never tell you if it's right or wrong, but they'll certainly tell you if you're going generally in the right direction. Once we've decided what we're actually going to write a proposal about, then we need to identify who would be the key partners that we have to put in place to make that proposal into a real project. So TSSG has about 425 partners at the moment, both academic and industrial, spread over about 35 different countries. So we have quite a pool of expertise that we can call on, depending on if we're doing security research or data mining or future internet or end-to-end services or whatever it might be. So then we start the process of actually preparing the project proposal. So you get a template from the Commission that has to be filled in. You get about 3 months to do it. It often ends up in and around a 150-page document, which has been refined and refined and refined multiple different times. Particularly, you have to address a number of key areas, and to answer your question about how do you stay current, first of all, we have to identify the state of the art in the particular area we're going to research. So we'll do a rigorous analysis of what is the state of the art, what's already out there, what's happening out in the markets, and then we'll determine how we're going to surpass the state of the art in various areas of the project. And once we've that identified, then we will have a clearer picture of the different types of partners that we actually need to bring into the proposal. So once we go to identify the partners, they can be a mix of industrial partners and academic partners. And then the trick is really to find a balance between the needs of the academic partners in terms of doing state-of-the-art research and the needs of industrial partners in terms of how can they exploit results in the near term. So it's quite a difficult process, and being an organisation that's 100% funded, there's an extra tension there that we need to ensure that we can bring in funding to keep ourselves going. But more importantly, I believe that we're doing cutting-edge research and that we're known for that internationally. So we then submit the project proposal and the budgets and everything else that go with it after about 3 months. And then it goes into a review process within the European Commission, where they may get between 3 and 5 scientific experts to evaluate each proposal. So again, in terms of the scale of these things, one of the last calls we targeted call 5 of the FP7 programme. There was, I think, over 1,200 proposals submitted, whereas maybe between 30 and 40 actually got funded. And each one of those proposals would have had more or less the same amount of work and effort put in place in order to meet the needs of what each consortium thought the Commission actually wanted. But you can imagine the amount of wasted effort that's there as well, you know. So then it goes through a review process. Then the Commission will notify you, first of all, if you haven't scored enough, you'll be knocked out of the game straight away. If you have scored enough, you'll be called to what's called a hearing within Brussels, where they'll send you maybe 4 or 5 questions that you need to answer about your proposal. The difficulty there is you can only bring in maybe 4 people into the room, and you meet a panel of, it's about 17 experts plus the European Commission officials, where they grill you basically for an hour, and then they decide will they increase your score or decrease your score based on how you performed at that particular meeting. After that, if you're successful, you go into a negotiation phase with the Commission, which can take another, I guess negotiation would take about a month to a month and a half, where you negotiate the terms of the contract and any maybe technical changes or strategic direction changes that the Commission think should be in the project proposal. Then after that, you have to go into a negotiation with the legal teams of all the different consortium partners to ensure that everybody's needs in terms of intellectual property management are met in a consistent manner. And for some projects that could take 3 months as well. I mean, the last one I coordinated is a project called Societies. There are 16 partners in that. It took about 5 months to write. In terms of scale, there was like 1,200 emails circulated. There was meetings every 2 or 3 weeks over the space of 3 to 4 months. And it took about 3 months with me on the phone with their solicitors to try and organise how the intellectual property would be managed. And that's particularly important for the industrial partners because they want to exploit not all of the project, but certainly certain pieces that they could integrate into their product sets.